have something a little bit more specific. We have a counselor, a group of teachers, and then groups of freshmen, depending on what career options they want to explore in the future. That is part of a way that we want to feel our students, or make our students feel more welcomed.
So maybe a question for the other student there. If you could tell me, what's the current vibe or feeling that the students are having? Are they excited about coming to the Sageview? Are they apprehensive? Is it all the above? Or what do you sense is the students are feeling coming into the new school?
What I'm sensing is that people are excited. People are, what's that word I'm thinking about? People are enthusiastic. There you go. About the new school. There's some people, yeah, I heard that they're kind of upset that they're leaving old high school friends and stuff like that. But I'm sure with this 4-8 program, it would like kind of make them like forget about that old friends and like, okay, I like the spirit. I like, obviously it's going to be with Shawana and Pasco with the 4-8 program. But it's just, what I'm sensing is that they feel pretty pumped about it. It's a new school and yeah, pretty much it.
So how many kids that have been a part of this program? I see 6 here, but you said that there was like 200 or something? How many were involved in this program?
With the Student Summit, we tried to get at least 25 from each of the comprehensive high schools. For the 4A activity that we're doing on August 7th and 8th, that's 70 kids from each. So approximately 200 kids that we're going to be inviting to participate on 2 days from all 3 comprehensive high schools. So this was preliminary work with our summit to get student feedback on how things are going and progressing from all 3 high schools, and then listening to our kids based off of like, hey, we need to integrate, all 3 high schools. We need to unify. We want to create more school pride within our own buildings. And so as a result, the 4A program is really going to be intentional around that work.
So how were the kids selected to be a part of this?
They signed up.
Signed up.
You want to talk about it, Luke?
I received an email one day in my Outlook, and looking through it, it was just a little invitation, free to everybody. It's a form that you sign up for. You give a little bit about yourself, and then see if you're able to come. And after that, once you'd sign up for it, once your name had been recorded, you were invited. You were told the dates, and then the day of, before school started, we took a bus. We took it to this building. We went upstairs, and it was just as easy as that. It was open to everybody. And everybody who joined because they wanted to.
So, Michelle, that's separate from the Student Action Council then?
What they're doing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So what do you guys need from us to make all this happen?
So part of what's unifying between all 3 schools is they want that continued collaboration and support between all 3 high schools. So whether that's some kind of after-school event, and they're all smiling because they're like, yeah, that's what we want, that's what they want. Whether it's going to be at Edgar Brown Stadium or each of the high schools, the support and saying, yeah, absolutely, we support the work of bringing all of the schools together with some event, whether it's once a trimester, whether it's with arts, what have you. Their job is really to generate information from the rest of the student population. But really, they want your support and saying, yes, let's do it. If it's going to be after school, what have you.
Would you guys like to continue the student summit?
Yes.
So this 4A program, that hasn't been implemented, or that has been implemented, or that's part of this?
It has not been implemented. It would be something new for us this year.
And is that a school-wide initiatives, or are those more just specific to the students that want to participate and then go into the school, or is it expected of the school, or will be expected of the school, school-wide?
It will be expected of us. If we say we're going to do it, we're going to do it. especially with our kids. So it's 70 kids from each of our buildings, and so the role of our students are 70 kids for each of our high schools. We'll bring the information back, and then they will also be training other students, and it's an action plan that comes out of that alongside with the staff as well. And then it'll be a timeline. There's a lot of benchmarking that has to happen throughout the year to demonstrate that, hey, we are increasing school pride and school participation, student participation.
So could you just explain a little, and maybe it was mentioned in the presentation, I apologize, more about the 4A program in general? Like what activities do they do within each of these areas? And is it tied to what they're learning in school? Or is it actually is it separate from that a little bit?
No, I would say it's a part of it because the 4As has the academics piece within it. And obviously, like within academics, you have National Honor Society, which I'm sure all the students have heard about. We have our CTE, different courses, clubs that are offered after school as well. And so what we do, really, the 4As is like what's happening between 3 to 9. And so we know that our kids have to engage with us somehow or another. And so part of for example, and these guys talk about it also, when we talk about joining the pack, let's say as an example for Sageview, it's one thing to be a Lobos, to be a wolf, right? But it's another thing to be part of the wolf pack. And so being part of the wolf pack is joining one of those 4As. That's you joining and be a part of that. And so when we're thinking of the holistic student experience for the students, it's also, yes, we're going to be concentrating on our career pathways, similar to what Lee was talking about, and with a smaller group of students, but also kids want to feel connected. They want to have fun. They want to have those building relationships with each other. They want to have show up to different events for our arts programs, our mariachi, our band as well, not just athletics. And so a lot of times we can isolate those, but this 4A program is really going to be unifying all of those programs together. I'm not sure if that answered that question.
That was excellent. Thank you.
Okay.
So I just was wondering, you've got all these clubs in these other high schools. To jumpstart the ones in the new high school, you need some leadership from the students to be able to get engagement and get buy-in. How is that working? What's your plan on that?
Yeah, so we actually, at our last parent night, May 19th, we had our big Join the Pack event. And so we had a lot of our staff. It was pretty, you can talk to it. It was a lot of our staff was present, showcasing all of our clubs, extracurriculars for kids and parents to sign up. So it's also leaning on our families as well to say, hey, if your kid, we need your student to connect with us. And so here's an opportunity for them to sign up. And so we did have a lot of our staff there, and our kids did sign up for a lot of events. We had a big raffle, things like that. And so it's, in addition to that, prior to that, we surveyed our kids. Our Principal Student Action Council, as well as our Summit kids, is what clubs do you want to see happen? What is already working in your current building, and what are some other ideas that you might have? And then we shared that with our staff, and they showed up and shared that on our last parent night.
I just don't know just a thought. I'm just wondering if some of the leadership from those that are leading the clubs now could help the school get started.
Absolutely, and that's one of the purposes of our Principal Student Action Council that we have at Sageview is established. They meet every month to really go through that information and say, okay, here's putting that information forward and recruiting more students as well.
Is that in collaboration with the other, so your Principal Student Action Council, does that include everyone from all the other two high schools, or is that just?
Each high school has their Principal Student
their
Action
own?
Council. And our principals meet with them regularly as well.
So is there any correlation between excellent student achievement and what happened at that one high school where they grew their student support throughout the district?
Regarding achievement, I don't know. That's something I can look more into.
So I know the main goal is student interconnectedness, but is it also a goal to have every student be involved in at least one of those A's?
I would love it if they were involved. One of the things that Lee reminded me is well, we can't force them. They'll want to, we want them to want to be a part of it. And so let's make our clubs engaging. And then we also, one of the things that we talked about with our parents is, it's not like you have to be involved in all 4 things. Like, let's at least just try one thing as well. So yeah, that is a goal, but I'm not going to force our kids to get there.
Well, I've heard it said in many forums that if students are engaged, it doesn't matter if it's athletics or band or an after-school club, but if I've heard in other districts that the goal is to have every student involved in some kind of even after-school activity, that increases student achievement. And then there's a lot of times that kids go home and, like, for instance, in my house right now, my kids are home and I'm not there. So, but to give the students something to do with a trusted adult that's not just going home and be on their phone or whatever they're doing. So,
Agreed. I think it probably also, like, in attendance, you want to participate, you want to be a part of it.
There is a correlation, because when we first made the outrageous outcomes, our 5th outrageous outcome was that every student would be involved in an extracurricular activity, because there was a strong correlation between the kids that were involved in extracurricular activities and student achievement. So we know that correlation exists. I just wonder if, like, the support and the camaraderie also correlates with higher student achievement.
Owen, Mason, anything to add? No?
Is there anything you wanted to share with us that wasn't already said?
One thing about every student in an extracurricular activity is there's some issues with transportation and with schedules regarding the family. I know personally I would have loved to join a club. I haven't yet in my 10th year of school because I live 30 minutes away. I live up in Eltopia, and there's no way for me to get there without a license of my own. So hopefully with this building an excitement culture in the school and having everybody in our school kind of exposed to these 4 A's, like you could be in athletics or your academics in school, so that we can still reach that kind of special, area of academics or clubs even within the school day itself. Not with like an extra period of, oh, here's just a club, but just kind of to have that culture around the school.
What about the clubs that meet during lunch? You have, just participate with any of those?
I don't know if I've heard of any of those, I'll be honest.
There's some.
But yeah, there is that too.
I know there's some because my son's involved with one, so, and it meets during lunch, so.
Well, I'll look into that. That's all I got.
Mr. Morales said that AWSL opened up in 1956.
Oh, thank you.
I just sent links to the board members for the website for AWSL and Ignite Tonight, so you'll have some background and context in your email box.
And I looked up the website, and the first video on the website has Pasco School District in the video. So cool!
Yay. Well, you guys were so great. We invited you back for an encore. So thank you for coming back and presenting to us again with addressing our questions and discussing all of these really great planning topics going forward. One team, one dream. I love that. I still wear my t-shirt all the time, by the way. So if there's no other comments or discussion, we will conclude this study session and again thank our principals and our students and invite everyone here to join us for our regular board meeting, which begins at 6:30 this evening.